What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about how you can make money through investing in vacant land, coming up right after this. Back to the YouTube channel that's all about real estate. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to teach you guys what to look for in vacant land and how to make money through investing in vacant land. And hey, if you get any value out of this video, I just ask that you hit that like button down there. And now on to the video you're waiting for. Today I'm specifically going to talk about zoning codes and what are they, what does it mean for the property that you're going to buy, and ultimately if you buy the property correctly, how much money can you possibly make when you sell it. What I want to show you here is this is within Snohomish County, and this is the corresponding zoning and land use designations. Now when it comes to zoning, you need to realize that there's going to be high density, there's going to be medium density, and then there's going to be low density. And when you look at the property that you're looking to buy, you need to look at a couple things. What is its current zoning, which means what is it currently zoned? Is it zoned R7200, R8400, R9600? Is it a waterfront beach zoning? Is it zoned for townhouses? Is it zoned for low density multiple ratio, which is LDMR? You know, and there's all these different zonings, and then here's all the commercial zonings, which we're not going to go into today. But you need to look at what is its current zoning. And then the second thing you need to look at is what is its best use zoning, meaning on what is its future use zoning. If it's currently zoned R9600, well, in the future, can you zone it down to a higher density, say a LDMR, a 7200, or maybe a multiple residential where you could get duplexes on the lot? Now, based off what the property is zoned that you're looking at, it's going to determine how many lots a land developer can put on that property, which is going to affect the value of the property tremendously. So let's head over to the whiteboard and I'll show you an example of this. Okay, so for this example, let's say all the pieces of land that you're looking at are going to be 1 acre parcels. So 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. This is a measurement you need to remember because it's just a good basis when you're just looking at properties to know what 1 acre is. Right, so let's start with the, R9600 zone, and then we'll go down to the more higher density zones. So say a property you're looking at, and keep in mind, these zoning codes are for where I live in Washington, right? If you're watching this from California or New York or Massachusetts, wherever you're located, your zoning codes are gonna be probably called a different thing. You know, they might be E12 or whatever they are. But you just need to figure out what the zoning codes mean where you live, but the same principles are going to apply. So for this scenario where I live, R9600 zoned, okay, this is gonna be, probably one house with a big yard, right? Maybe more in a, kind of farm country, right? So an R9600 zone. So all you have to do here, right? So say you're driving by this property and it's zoned R9600. You need to take the 1 acre, the lot square footage, divided by 9,600, and you're gonna get 4.54. Okay, so for this example, best case scenario, say the lot is perfectly square, maybe you don't need frontage improvements. This lot would hold 4 developable lots to a developer. Now here comes kind of the harder part for the amateur land investor is, what would a developer pay per door? Now, with my experience where I work, I know that a developer would probably pay around $80,000 a door, right? But it depends on each developer and what margins they want, when they sell their house. Ultimately, how much money do they want to make off of this project? But for this example, we're going to use $80,000 a door as our metric. So we're going to take 4 times $80,000. So this property would be valued at $320,000. based off its current zoning and how many lots. Okay, so that's scenario number 1. Now, let's keep moving down to more higher density. So the next zoning is gonna be R8400. So the same principles apply, right? So we're gonna take the 1 acre, 43,560, we're gonna divide it by 8,400, and we're gonna get 5.19. So with this current zoning, we could get 1 more lot. Now we're gonna take 5 times 80,000, and that's gonna equal 400,000, okay? $80,000 more than that, makes sense, 320 to 400. Now let's go to scenario number 3. So now we go from a zone of an 8,400 to a 7,200. And also with these codes, it comes down to, right, you need to be experienced knowing what these codes mean and what it means for you as a land developer, or maybe for a potential buyer wanting to buy your property. And also if you're looking at buying vacant land, you need to think of what is the resale potential? How are you gonna get out of the property? That's something really important to think about. So with the R7200 zone, let me type it in the calculator. So we're gonna do 43,560 divided by 7,200. So we're gonna get 6 potential buildable lots on this property, and we're gonna multiply that by 80,000 to get $480,000 more than that. Now let's go to scenario number 4. Scenario number 4 is gonna be a LDMR, a low density multiple ratio zoning. This is a lot average of 4,000 square feet on this zone. What you need to know with that, so it's gonna be 4,000 square feet times 10 is gonna give you 40,000 square feet. So on an LDMR zone, you can get 10 lots. And keep in mind, when you're developing, you normally need open space, so be conservative, right? LDMR wouldn't hold 11 lots, it's most likely 10 or 9 lots, and it definitely factors in depending on, you know, the lot dimensions and other factors. But this is a perfect case scenario. So LDMR is gonna be 10 lots, okay, and that's just gonna be basic math. So 10 lots times 80,000 is gonna be 800,000. So you can see how fast this is jumping up with how many lots you can get on the property. And then the last case scenario would be multiple residential. This would be like the best use for your property. So when you say best use, say you buy a property with 9,600, and if you wanted to maximize your profit, you would need to rezone down to MR, multiple residential, and you need to see if the future use map in your area that you live will allow you to rezone. And the lower you go on this table, the more money someone's gonna pay for your property, because the amount of lots you can build on your property will increase. So with the MR lot, okay, what we need to do is, this is gonna be a lot average of 2,000 square feet. So it's the same as LDMR, but you can get a duplex on each lot. So you can get 2 units, excuse me, per lot. So what we need to do here is take 43,560, divide it by 2,000, and we'll get 21.78. Okay, so we're gonna round down 21 lots, best case scenario. Okay, now we're gonna take 21 times 80,000, and this is gonna get a grand total of $1,680,000. This is a perfect example of how you can make an extreme amount of money on any single transaction investing in land, but it takes time. So let me give you an example. So say you bought a property that's R9600 zone, and maybe that current seller didn't look at the future use map. Maybe the county's rezoning that property to a higher density, right? So you're gonna pay that seller its current market value for that property. So for this example, say you paid $320,000 for that property. Maybe it even had a house on it, so you're getting rental income from the property while you're holding the property, waiting for it to rezone, right? Now let's say the county rezones it because they need more property in that area. Maybe they opened up a new school. Maybe they're expecting a lot of people to migrate into that area, so they rezone it to a higher density. Say maybe an LDMR. Best case scenario, it's an MR, but say it's an LDMR. Now that property can hold 10 lots. Now that property's value is $800,000, and maybe a developer will pay more. Maybe they'll pay $100,000 a door. That would be $1 million for that LDMR property. And right there, just by holding that property, you gain that much equity after you sell it. Now let me give you a real world example. So this is on the Northwest MLS. And what we can look at here is you can see obviously all these developments, right? So these are gonna be high density zonings like we touched on, most likely, you know, an R7200 or an LDMR zone, right? So these are all gonna be, you know, your classic residential neighborhoods that everyone knows about. But what we can see here on this table, or this map, I should say, is you can see all these large parcels, right? You know, you can see this big parcel, that's 20 acres, and it extends out. But you can see the line where literally right here, and I'll zoom in on it, right? High density, low density. High density, low density. Well, what is the county going to do? Well, the county is going to rezone this at some point to a higher density. So as a smart investor and, with someone with any knowledge in land, this is something we start salivating over. This is something we see a huge return on because you're going to pay the current market value for that property. And when it rezones, just like the example on the whiteboard, you can make a tremendous amount of profit by selling it to a developer. So let me give you an example of a parcel. Let me find it here. So let me zoom in. So this parcel right here, okay, is 1.45 acres and 1.38 acres. So total square footage of these two lots right here that I'm showing you, this one and this one, is 123,275 square feet, 2.83 acres in total. Now, what we need to realize is these properties are currently zoned as R5. That is one dwelling unit per 5 acres. So this is the best use out of this property. You can see there's one house on each of these parcels. All of these properties have one house on them with a tremendous amount of land. And you can actually see right down here on the east side of Sunset Road, there's actually high density buildings already in effect. They just built a school down this road as well. So they're planning on rezoning this. Now, if we go back up to this property, let's run some basic calculations on the whiteboard about these two properties. Let's do a real world example of the properties I just showed you on my laptop. So this would be the square footage of the property if you bought both parcels. Now, I've talked to actually both of those sellers, so these are actually real world numbers. They would sell for $700,000 each. So that would be $1.4 million you'd pay for both lots. Now, if you put 20% down on that figure, say you finance this, it would be $280,000 down. Your debt obligation on this would be $1,120,000. Now my calculations are based off a 3.65 interest rate. Okay, so with those numbers, and I didn't even do a mortgage calculator, I'm just running rough numbers here. Your monthly payment on both of those would be, so the interest part would be around $3,360, and then you add the property taxes would be around $1,000 a month. So on the low end, I would say $4,500 a month. Let's just say $5,000 a month for this mortgage, okay? So $5,000 a month, those properties would probably rent for, on a low end, I would say $2,000 a month. Okay, so $4,000 a month, right? So this is person obviously with, he's in a liquid position, he wants a good investment, he's okay with getting net cash negative and paying $1,000 out of pocket just to hold this property and wait for it to rezone. But here comes the interesting part. So let's do the rezone example. This property, when it rezones, the county says it will go to an R7200 zone. Okay, currently it is a R5, which means you can only get one dwelling unit per 5 acres. Okay, so it's going to a dramatically higher density. Okay, off this square footage, you're going to take 123,275, divide it by 7,200, and you're going to get like 17.3. So best case scenario, I always like to be conservative. Let's say you can get 16 lots for a developer that comes in. Now you can get 16 lots. Now this is where this gets interesting because Bothell is a higher priced zip code than where I work in Linwood. So a developer is gonna pay higher per door than $80,000. A developer would probably pay $150,000, $200,000 a door. So let's be conservative. Let's say they pay you $150,000 a door. So you take 16 times $150,000. That would mean they would pay you $2.4 million for the property. And what did you originally pay? Yeah, you originally paid $1.4 million. Yeah, you've had $1,000 going out of your pocket, but if you're in a liquid position, you want a good investment, even after closing costs, and you pay tax, I don't know the exact calculations. You're not gonna make a total of $1 million, but all I'm saying is you're gonna get a great return on your investment by just finding properties that have good future use zoning. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. That wraps it up today. Stay tuned for the 2 videos coming Wednesday and Friday, and hopefully you learned something new today. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.